Welcome to the third episode of the MousekaBros podcast.
Hi, I'm Ryan.
And I'm his brother Randy. Be sure to like us on Facebook at the MousekaBros. We will be releasing new episodes every Friday, so make sure you subscribe to get the latest podcast. On today's episode, we will be discussing the top major announcements from D23’s Destination D that took place in November. Destination D announced major updates and changes that are coming to the Disney parks. Everything we talk about will have a link to an article in the description below.
So the first major announcement is going to be from Chairman Bob Chapek. He shared some exciting news about Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. During his presentation, he shared two videos which for the first time ever revealed the names of the two major attractions that will be part of the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge on opening day at Disneyland, opening summer 2019, and Disney's Hollywood Studios, opening fall of 2019. The first attraction is called Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. This will put guests behind the controls of the most famous ship in the galaxy and one of the three unique flight crew roles. The second attraction, which puts guests in the middle of an epic battle between the Resistance and the First Order, is called Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. So, yeah, I mean, that was the first announcement, and, you know, I think a lot of people have been waiting for more information about Galaxy's Edge, because, I mean, I can't wait.
Yeah, no, it's going to be really cool. One thing that kind of makes me confused or interested in to learn about is the three unique flight crew roles. Just because, does that mean that there's only going to be three people per car? Is there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think with the concept art, I think there was like six people in a car.
Right.
So do they double up the roles?
I think they do, yeah. So
Okay.
so there might be two pilots and then two navigators.
Right.
Like that.
But it'll be interesting, because with Mission Space, they'll say like pilot, press this button now. So it'd be interesting if they say like pilot 1, press this button, pilot 2, steer, or kind of like
Both at the same time.
Yeah,
maybe.
Still making
Yeah.
them unique.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not doing the same exact thing. So
Yeah.
that'll be interesting.
And the one thing I guess I hope that they keep the momentum of it, because I remember when Mission Space first opened, and the cast member there, like all the cast members, were very like gung-ho about the attraction, like, we are actual real astronauts going, into space. And I was like, wow, I feel like I'm a real astronaut, like going into this flight sim, going to Mars. And now you get on the attraction and they're like, come this way, astronauts.
Right. They're
thing,
not
right?
like into it, yeah.
And so I hope they keep that momentum and that magic, because I think that's what's going to be the key component with Galaxy's Edge all around.
I mean, you could probably talk to any Disney person, and like a favorite memory of theirs is probably going to have a Disney cast member, because Disney kind of sets up the scenes and everything, but then it's always that Disney cast member that kind of pushes it over the edge and makes you think like, oh my gosh, I'm actually in this thing. Yeah. So I think a lot of it does rely on the Disney cast members. I think that's a good point.
Yeah. And actually, in the link below, there's a video about both of these attractions, and actually a cool fact about the Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. The actual footage of that was actually shot in the actual attraction, which is it's pretty cool. It kind of is like, oh, I'm going to see that when I go there.
Right. It was cool. It's a cool fact, but the video itself wasn't like, it was interesting because it was like, oh, I want more. Right. But at the same time, it was like, okay, I don't really understand what's going on. To me, it kind of looked like it was a pre-show almost, because it kind of, would set up the story.
Right, yeah.
Like that ends, and then you go and you're on the side of the Resistance kind of doing everything. So it'll be interesting to see how that footage plays into the ride.
Yeah, I think for both videos, it's definitely a hype video. I mean, everybody's already hyped already, so let's hype them up more. Let's get them more videos, which is really awesome.
All right, so moving on to the second announcement, actually kind of staying in Hollywood Studios, there is an all-new cinematic nighttime experience coming to the park. This new show will be called Wonderful World of Animation. It will debut in May 2019 to help celebrate the park's 30th anniversary. Wonderful World of Animation will use state-of-the-art technology and take guests on a magical journey through more than 90 years of Disney animation, all beginning with Mickey. The concept art to this, again, there's a link in the description. We're going to keep repeating ourselves a lot with that. It looks really cool because it has, Mickey right in the center and he stands out, but then all around him has a bunch of animated characters that have been throughout the year. So I think it's cool because that's what Disney is. Whenever you think of Disney, people do think of Mickey Mouse and having him in the center and everything that he inspired around him. Well, everything that Walt and Mickey.
Yeah.
But, everything started with a mouse. So it's cool to have him in the center than have all the characters around him.
Yeah. And I wonder, are they just going to keep it with the projections? I mean, here, like the concept art almost looks like, I know it's concept art, but like it's like a mist and then characters shown onto it. Or are they just going to keep it, right on the Chinese theater like they do now and just have the projections?
Right. Because if it's on the Chinese theater, they're not going to have those big mist screens because that's just not going to work. It's going to get everything soaked. Yeah. Right. Like it works in Fantasmic because it's already on a lagoon and it's projected farther away.
Right.
But, if it's projected right there, it's going to be very close.
Yeah, I'll be excited to see it. It's just an added bonus, especially with everything going on in Hollywood Studios right now. It's after Galaxy's Edge, it'll definitely be the park to be at. So, leaving Hollywood Studios and the new way coming up to leave Hollywood Studios is going to be the Disney Skyliner. So, the update is that the Disney Skyliner gondola system will be operating at the Walt Disney World Resort in fall of 2019. The article is a first look at one of the gondolas. The Disney Skyliner will be a fun and offer a new way to experience Walt Disney World's resort with amazing views only available from the sky. Select gondolas will have iconic Disney characters incorporated into their exterior design to give the appearance that a Disney pal is riding along with you. Such characters from the Fab Five, figures from Disney attractions, fan favorites from movies, and more. I know there's been a lot of bad, they're not going to have air conditioning, but this kind of pumps me up for them. To actually see the concept art on the outside. And there's a video also in the link below. There's another video that goes into a little bit more detail about them. I'm excited to ride them. I think they'll probably be busy at first, but maybe not. I think that the gondolas are. To me, people either like them or they don't. They're either like that way of transportation or they don't. Me, I'll take the buses, but sometimes they just take forever to come pick you up from your bus stop to go back to your hotel or, your other destinations. But I think it'll be really, really interesting to see what the impact of this will be, within like the first 3 to 6 months of it being, of operation.
Yeah, it's important to note that right now with the concept art, there's only 4 kind of gondolas out. The first one is Mickey and Minnie. The second one is Belle and Beast from Beauty and the Beast. The third is the Hitchhiking Ghost from Haunted House, and then the last is Goofy. So it's interesting that there's only like 4, but I'm very curious to see how many gondolas there's actually going to release. Is there going to be 8, 12? Is there not a number?
Yeah.
Is each gondola completely unique? So that'll be cool. It's also important to note that right now it's just exterior design. I wonder if they're going to put anything in there. If you get the Beauty and the Beast gondola, inside, is there going to be
some type of hint to them?
Right. Or are they going to be playing music of Beauty and the Beast the entire time? Or like, Hitchhiking Ghost, they're going to be doing, the Haunted Mansion music.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see what they put inside of them, because I hope they're just not it's Disney. I don't want it to be like a
bench.
boring, like a bench, boring inside, something that I can't actually look at.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, you're going to have the views, but I still want something.
I think on the opposite, side of what you're saying is there's new views that you haven't been able to previously see, right outside the gondola window. Whether it's a new look of you leaving Hollywood Studios or entering Epcot from the back way, and especially when, Ratatouille opens in that whole new area, I think it'll be interesting just to look out.
I completely agree with you. But how many people on the monorail are sitting down, talking, playing on their phones, not looking at the views because they've done it? So after you do it so much, you're still going to look at the views, but it's going to be just one of these things where I don't want to use the word stale, but it's going to get stale, right? You're just going to be like, oh yeah, look, there's that view again. We're so high up.
Yeah.
Hey, what you doing? You know what I mean? You're not going to keep looking at it and every time just be like, oh wow, this is incredible.
Yeah, and I hope they definitely keep the maintenance up on it. It's like we take a look at the monorail and you're like, oh gosh, please get new ones, please. I hope we're not saying that in 10 years about the gondolas, like, oh my gosh, the artwork's chipping, or they're just dirty on the inside.
What, you don't want to be 50 feet up in the air and a door falls off right now?
No, I'd rather not, especially on a gondola. Funny enough, I think I would feel safer on the monorail than the gondola, but
yeah,
that's funny.
So after you've taken the gondola to another park, your next stop is probably going to be Epcot, which actually brings us to our next announcement. This announcement kind of has two announcements in it, but it is about the France Pavilion. The new Ratatouille attraction that's already been announced will be called Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. This ride is expected to open in 2020. The new dark ride coming to this pavilion is a copy from Disneyland Paris. Also announced is a new Beauty and the Beast sing-along that will be coming to this pavilion, created by Don Hahn, producer of the animated and live-action Beauty and the Beast films. No date has been announced for this new show. This show will run in addition with Impressions de France, which is a short movie currently in this pavilion, and no announcements have been made about closing of Impressions de France. Let me start off by saying that I'm sorry if I butchered Don Hahn's name. I'm not good at English, as most people know. So I'm excited about the Beauty and the Beast thing, just because I don't like Impressions de France. It's never a show that I'm like, oh, I got to go see. We've seen O Canada and Reflections of China a bunch, but this one I've seen once, and it was just okay. I guess. I don't know. It didn't do anything for me. So I'm excited for the new Beauty and the Beast. If Beauty and the Beast does well, I wouldn't be surprised if they closed it just to run Beauty and the Beast more, right? Because, they have the Frozen sing-along, and that's all it is. Mm-hmm. So if they have I know it's not actual characters, but, if they have the Beauty and the Beast sing-along, I wonder if it will completely replace Impressions de France at some point.
This could definitely just be a test, a feeler to say, let's put this Beauty and the Beast thing, but still play Impressions de France and see how it goes. If people, enjoy it, maybe they will, get rid of Impressions de France and, maybe have a new offering of Beauty and the Beast, a sing-along plus more, whatever that more would be, interesting. Yeah, I'm interested. I'll go see it now. I'll go see, because I'll see the Beauty and the Beast, and then I'll stay for Impressions de France anyway. So it'll be something new to go and see for sure. To the Ratatouille, I'm very excited about as well. I know it's another IP in Epcot, but I feel like the IPs that they're putting go so well in the countries. Ratatouille in France, it makes sense. Ever since the movie came out, I was like, oh, that'd be cool if they put that in France. It literally goes hand in hand to me. And to have the same kind of ride as Disneyland Paris, I think it'll be interesting. I hope it has some rewritability. It might or might not. I'll be interested to see, what it feels like.
I am nervous that they are putting two IPs right next to each other. We know that Epcot, they're trying to get more IPs into Epcot. So putting this Beauty and the Beast thing is a way to get more IPs into it. But having the IPs right next to each other, and having them kind of in different time periods, I'm scared that they might clash a little bit. You know, one's animated, one's live action, one takes place current day, the other one doesn't. So it'll be interesting to see if it clashes at all with one another.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see both. I'm more excited to do the Remy's Ratatouille adventure for sure. Because this is going to be the first trackless ride, right, at Walt Disney World that I can think of.
I think that is correct.
So that'll be interesting. Having that technology, maybe they'll redo another ride trackless if this one has some positive.
Yeah, I mean, because they have, I think in Disneyland Tokyo, they have Winnie the Pooh trackless, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yep.
I think that's closing or something. I don't know. But yeah, so like, I think they want to implement this new technology into the parks because, I mean, it's cool to have a completely trackless ride. You don't know where you're going,
Right.
It can be different every time.
It's an IP, Ratatouille. I think a lot of people like it. I just hope they don't get into, again, where they just start bringing other rides from other parks like they did before in the past.
No, I agree. I completely
agree.
Like the
lights, motor action.
Right.
All that error,
right.
I don't think did well. And of course you see it because it didn't stick around.
I mean, Tower of Terror. They tried to repeat it. It's not around anymore.
Right. Yep. So staying in Epcot, the big fuss with Illuminations ending in the summer of 2019. An all-new show will debut in 2020 celebrating Disney. It will feature massive floats, custom-built LED panels, choreographed moving fountains, lights, pyrotechnics, and lasers. Before the new show debuts, an interim show called Epcot Forever will begin in fall of 2019. The show will feature classic Epcot tunes. I'm actually really excited about that. So Epcot Forever will begin with a spark of imagination that swells into an epic spectacle of fireworks, music, lighting, lasers, and special effect kites. Yeah, kites.
It's a weird word.
I'm interested.
When I hear that, I kind of think of like drones almost.
Yeah,
but I don't know. But
and they were testing with all that, and
I mean, Disney Springs has the drone show.
Yeah. They had that last year. I'm interested. I think I have to go see this now. This Epcot Forever. I'm a huge Epcot fan. Epcot is almost in my blood, literally. I love everything about Epcot. So Epcot Forever, it just rings out that, just Epcot. And especially, the word they use of spark of imagination. I mean, who does that bring to mind? Figment, of course. So I really hope they incorporate him in there. And gosh, I hope I don't get to the point where it's like, oh man, I kind of wish they kept just Epcot Forever and not did, the new show in 2020 celebrating Disney, or maybe they offer the Epcot Forever, on specific nights instead of the other one or with it. I'm interested really to see both and see how they both compare. I am sad they're getting rid of Illuminations. The show's been around for a very long time. Sad to see it go, but happy for some change.
Of course.
Yeah, definitely trying to stay positive about it, for sure.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, Illuminations is a great show. Like there's a picture of me, you, and our father where we're just kind of standing shoulder by shoulder, the exact pose, watching the end of it. And I don't know, it's just such a good show. It has such memories with us.
Oh yeah.
So like I am sad to see it go, but I'm excited to see what comes. I mean, like Wishes was around and like it was a good show. We knew the words, right? We knew all the fireworks. Like we would listen to the soundtrack driving and we would be doing fireworks with our hands, right? But then Happily Ever After came and you were like, what's Wishes? I have no idea.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm excited to see.
Exactly.
The new one, not Epcot Forever, but the one that doesn't have a name yet, makes me a little nervous because it has the choreographed moving fountains, lights, pyrotechnics, and lasers. That's Wonderful World of Color.
Color, yeah.
Right, in Disneyland. So that's cool. The massive floating set pieces, that makes me nervous. They have the globe. That's awesome. This can't be Rivers of Light. Because Rivers of Light is not a good show.
Rivers of Light.
In my opinion, Rivers of Light was a big flop. It took so long to get here. They kept having problems with it. When it finally get here and we saw it, we had fast passes for it. We were super excited. We saw it and we were like, "Is that it? Like, when does the show start?" Right? Because it just wasn't...
It's definitely. I'll see it once, and if I'm around, I'll see it again.
Right. And I understand they can't do all of the same stuff because of the animals, and I completely understand that. I'm not saying that's a bad reason, but they still could have done more. Right? So if they don't do it well, I think it's going to be a flop. But again, I think this is a new era, so I am excited to see what they do. I think Disney might realize that Rivers of Light wasn't that good because, I mean, you can talk to anybody who's a true Disney fan, and they're just like, it was okay. It wasn't worth the hype that they were putting into it.
Oh, yeah. It was definitely very, very hyped up. And, I guess the little thing, completely off topic from this show now, but the live actors, I thought the live actors in it added a necessary show element, and now they got rid of them. So, and I know it's because, budget cuts and all of that, but, to get rid of a show element from a show that's been hyped up that long, I think speaks volumes to a show that's, not even a year and a half, not even 2 years old.
Right. So they got rid of the live actors. Are they still doing the projections on the sailboats of people? Because they were playing drums and their shadow in quotes was being projected on the sail. Do you know if they're still keeping that or not?
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know because we don't really need to see it again. You know what I mean?
Right. Totally. Any other thoughts about Epcot? Overall, I'm very excited for the changes coming to the whole entire park. It definitely needs some love. I hope they just keep that imagination, exploration type feel of the future. And I also like that it also has that 80s feel to it. So, and I hope they keep that because, I'm a huge fan of retro Epcot. So I hope they, definitely do some throwbacks.
Yeah, especially with the Epcot Future, all those Epcot tunes.
Yeah,
some cool throwbacks.
Especially for Epcot Forever. That's...
I think what makes me just the most nervous, and this is kind of about anything, is that a lot of times what happens is people will say, you need to change this, you need to do changes. Then they do changes, and everybody's like, no, not those changes. You know what I mean? So it always makes me nervous when they say, we're changing this and doing something new. Because that can either go really, really good, like Happily Ever After, or really bad with Rivers of Light. And they're both nighttime shows, and we have the complete opposite spectrum of them. So it just, I'm nervous, but I'm also really excited to see what is in store.
Oh, for sure. For both shows.
So our last announcement, after the parks, you need some place to sleep if you're staying on property. So this kind of talks about the new hotel. More details were released about the new nature-inspired resort that will feature more than 900 hotel rooms and Disney Vacation Club villas. It will be called Reflections, a Disney lakeside lodge. The new resort is scheduled to open in 2022 on the shoreline of Bay Lake, located between Disney Wilderness Lodge and Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground. This joins 3 other hotels that are already under the way that will bring a total of 1,700 new hotel rooms to Disney over the next 4 years. I'm kind of excited. You know, it's always cool when
huge
they do.
investment.
Yeah, no, it's a very
out
big
of all
investment.
those rooms.
Yeah. And the concept art that they released, it looks really cool. It looks very modern, but still with kind of like in touch with nature.
Oh, for sure. I mean, definitely that woodsy and then like mid-century modern. I mean, just looking at the concept art, I hate to say it, it kind of looks like The Incredibles almost because it has that like mid-century modern feel.
Right.
But
No, yeah,
also
I know what you mean.
woodsy. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited. What makes me nervous, though, is, they're building all these new hotels for more people. That costs money, right? So more people, that's awesome. That means more sales. So Disney's going to probably raise their prices again, how they have in the past.
Yeah.
So that's just going to make Disney more expensive, hotels more expensive. Overall, your Disney trip just more expensive.
Just keeps on adding up. I mean, there's, to say that you could almost be priced out of a Disney vacation, which, is kind of worrisome. It's all these rooms, the same amount of parks, which I guess that's another discussion of Fifth Gate or not, for the resort overall, which would be interesting. I wouldn't think at least until, 20 years down the road, especially because, they revamped the Magic Kingdom with New Fantasyland, and now they're doing Hollywood Studios. Next is Epcot, so they have spaced out time to revamp these parks, so that's why I think maybe 20 years for a Fifth Gate, if at all, if they don't need it.
No, I completely disagree with you. I think they already have a fifth one planned and kind of in the works. Think about it. They're building all these new hotels so more people can come, and they're not redoing, but they're making updates and changing the parks so that when they start building it, they're going to have tons of people and have that steady income and have the 4 parks can support the massive amount of people until that fifth one's open. Universal just had the Volcano Bay open, but, it's cool. I mean, we're not Universal people, so we're not going to go. But like it looks really cool. I've heard good comments. I've heard bad comments. Now they're in works with a Nintendo Land. So when that opens, does that pull people away from Disney? I don't think so. I think it'll pull some people away.
Yeah.
People like me and you, it's not going to pull away. We'll go to Nintendo Land, I'm sure, because we're very big into video
Definitely
games.
interested to see it and their theming and aspect part of it.
Right. But it's going to be on a week-long trip where all of the other days, except for one day, we're in Disney. And that one day we're not, we're going to be in Nintendo Land.
Yeah.
So, we're always, if we're going down to Orlando, we're going to Disney. It might pull people away. They'll probably go to it and then be like, and the next year, all right, let's go back to Disney, right? Disney's always going to have kind of that pool. So I do think that they are in the works of a fifth park.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see. I mean, they wouldn't be building all of these hotels and new rooms for nothing.
Yeah, they have to have something up their sleeve that they just haven't released yet.
Yeah, I think at first, Galaxy's Edge will definitely be that increase in, sales and headcounts for people coming into the parks. All this helps that. Galaxy's Edge in 5 years, will it still have that same type of pool? And then if not, like, I guess what would be that pool? It could be the plan of a fifth park. Yeah,
that's what I think.
Yeah, it definitely be interesting to see what they have in their secret files.
It just makes sense. There's just too many working components right now for them to not do something big, because it just feels like they're building up. Because I don't want them to build all the hotels, make all the changes, and then say, "Okay, we're good now. See you in the next couple years when we start, redoing something else." I don't know.
Yeah,
it just seems that it's gonna keep building and building and building. Because first, it started with New Fantasyland, and then like Pandora's, right? So they're already in lands. Now they're redoing big rides, and they're making them more immersive to where you do it, and you kind of every time you ride it, you do something different, right? You got Toy Story Land, now Galaxy's Edge, plus the new hotel that's coming with Star Wars Land. Everything just keeps building on top of each other till I think it just kind of comes into a new park.
Yeah. I know the talk is of outpricing a Disney vacation, and and I know for me, even if then it takes you another year to save that up to go to Disney, I would do it. I mean, because we love Disney so much. Well, we wouldn't be doing a show if we didn't. But I think it's going to take just people just a little bit longer to save those couple extra dollars to then plan an even more magical experience at Walt Disney World than what you have right now. And to think about it that way, to think about a more magical experience, it's just like, yeah, I'll go. Let me spend this, all my money.
Right. But the thing is, they have to get to that magical experience. They can't keep building hotels and changing the same parks and not make it, because then it becomes not worth it almost. Mm-hmm. And I don't ever want to say Disney's not worth it. But if they keep kind of staying at this like middle ground, changing rides here and there, just refurbishments. Yeah, they're adding all of these rides. But it's what happens after the rides that either makes Disney big or just kind of, flatlines Disney to where it kind of just stays the same for a little bit till they do more refurbishments.
Yeah. Overall, I'm very, very excited for the next 5 to 10 years for Walt Disney World and what it has to offer and what it's going to offer. From now, it's going to be, to me, it seems like times 10. So very, very excited. Did you have anything else?
No, I completely agree that I'm just excited about all of the announcements and to see where Disney goes from here.
Yeah. I can't wait for more announcements. I definitely can't wait for, the D23 Expo coming up next year. Just, I guess, stay tuned. Yeah. And we'll give you as much news as we can. So if you enjoyed this episode, leave us a review as it helps us improve the show. And as always, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Facebook. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.